true story. So I told you how I used to look at porn as a kid. So it was 1999. In 1999, my first time going to Ghana, Africa. And back then, cell phones weren't even a big deal. They were too expensive. But so everybody would go communicate through email. So I'm on a missions trip. I'm preaching at crusades. And they used to have internet cafes. Not even everybody had stuff. So I'm in the middle of nowhere in Africa.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere in Africa, and I go to an internet cafe, dirty old little out in the bush, nowhere, and there's a bunch of computers there, and I walk in, and all these young men are looking at porn. I mean, they're looking at porn, and I'm like, there's no way they'd be looking at this outside of the internet. There's no Playboy or those magazines out there. Then that following year, me, my wife, and my son were preaching in the Philippines. And Philippines has many islands. We're at the main island, but then we ended up at this tiny little remote island. I was the first American to preach at this church. And same thing, I had to go check my email, and I literally went to the cafe, and there's these young men looking at porn.
Wow.
And I realized, the whore of Babylon, the Bible says in Revelation, she has a gauntlet in her hand. And it says all the fornications, adulteries of the earth, and it's thrown on the earth.
Yeah.
And it's like now this has hit the earth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not just in the West and the freedom of speech and all that. No, the internet is, America is the greatest exporter of the gospel, but also the greatest export of filth and pornography at the same time.
The way I see it, Apostle, and this may be a controversial take, but I think the LGBTQ is more unified than the church.
Oh, yeah.
Or the American church.
Yeah.
Because it seems like their sinful morals, they're more unified on that than the church is on the truth of God.
It's